This night we uploaded what, 100? Kind of really craving Fortnite. Okay, good. Oh. There should be more happiness, so much joy you can give to each brand new bride tomorrow. Okay, so now we're gonna do the movie review because we've been reviewing movie, right? Well, we've been watching movies as I work. You're gonna see me looking here a lot. Um, I'm just uploading. I'm just uploading. Today we have three movies to do. I've gotta say the three movies were actually pretty good, so I'm very happy about it. By the way, this is day 173. I do it in the thumbnail, I do it in the title, but I feel like you guys need it, so here it is, right? So we watch a movie, Special Need Revolt, which is, as you heard, it's a special movie about it's a guy with special needs as a revolt. This is the first movie that I saw, so I'm gonna be critical, but I'm gonna be very, very, just because it's a good movie. I laughed a couple times, right? So it's one of this fever dream, right? So you watch a movie. By the way, what we're doing right now, again, uploading. So, um, yeah, I could be watching porn though. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. Where's my glasses? There you go. Now you get to see the reflection, right? Good. So special needs revolt is this movie about a society where it's a normal society. Then this guy who gets elected, which is kind of the villain, and he's like, okay, well, we don't need people of color. We don't need people with special needs. We don't need people whatever, right? A very Aryan system, right? So it's kind of funny because there's the main character, which is a special need character, ends up sliding or slipping, sorry, and puke, and then because he slipped and puked, he lost consciousness for a couple of years, and because he lost a couple of years, it's so weird, such a weird movie. Because he fell asleep for a couple of years. Well, when he wake up, the world has changed, right? The president, which wanted to be the Aryan, he kind of, he was in power. It's so funny because of how poorly made the movie is. You can tell it's very low budget, but I think the beauty of this movie is they embrace a low budget. For example, right? So for example, with the guy wake up, you can see him peeing. You can clearly tell it's soup. You can clearly tell the color is not normal. There's some texture to it. It's very weird. There's multiple scenes. For example, they use a real superhero, which is Fart Mask, and you realize that Fart Mask was the same guy who created Toxic Avenger. So they actually used a real superhero, which is kind of cool. So you have this resistance of people with, so you have a guy that's a pervert who wants to have it with Mahatis. You got a trans person. You got a special need. You got a physical need, and I think I'm forgetting someone. There's like two chicks which are, I don't remember what their deal was, because it's a movie that you watch it high, you watch it drunk, right? So the beauty of the movie once again is how not seriously it takes itself. Like for example, one of the characters, the one I want to have with Matthew, will have intercourse. Um, when he dies, they explain all of the ritual, and it's so fucking funny because you can clearly see it's a plushie, right? You can clearly see. They take his penis and they throw it in the water for the Mahati. The president itself, such a weird thing because he acts like an asshole. The whole movie is an asshole, right? The whole movie. Um, and it's kind of funny because at the end they do something disgusting when they put him naked and they spank him, which is very, very weird because the guy is clearly old and he has an older man body, right? When you reach a certain age, your body changes, right? Which is pretty much it. The special need guy is a super, like, so much cliches. Like for example, he calls people cocksucker, but then there's a couple of times where he says you're a real one. No offense. Of course, the person that betrayed them is the trans person. They end up betraying it, so it's like a political thing. It's a very messy movie. I didn't laugh that much. Um, it's very weird because the humor is very specific. And the humor is cringe. For example, there's this girl, right? There's this girl and she has big tatas, and she is a romance interest of the main character. So when she's gonna be touching her tatas and looking at him with her tongue, oh, so it's very weird. It's very uncomfortable. It's very specific. Like you don't know how they're what they were trying to do, and I think that's the beauty of the movie is you don't know where the serious. You watch a movie. It's one of the only time in my life I am not even joking. I'm not even joking. At first, you feel like the movie takes itself seriously, but then there's a moment where you stop believing in the movie. Like no, there's no way that they try it seriously. So the movie once makes you question multiple times: are they for real or they're not for reals? Because I cannot tell. So it's actually kind of cool that you see that because you're like, okay, well, I'm not really sure. It was a great movie. It was okay. It was okay. Next, we have Cabin in the Wood. So Cabin in the Wood is a very specific movie for me. Very special and near and dear to my heart, even though it's my first time watching it today. So what happened with Cabin in the Wood is when I was living at my father's house, like 10, 12 years ago. 12 years to be exact. I think it's 13 years, but I'm not sure. 2012. Okay, well, we reached 13 years. We had a channel. This is way back in the days. So we're talking early 2000. We're talking very early on. I had a channel on the TV where it was free, and what they would do, I swear to God, I'm not even joking. They would present like 9 to 10 movies a day, and it wasn't even a movie. It was trailer for the movies, and they put it and repetition, and you can order movie from them. So they would present movie and you can order. They would present like fighting match. There was no interview. There was no show. It was kind of like a shopping channel for movies. So very specific. And then one of those movies that was in there was Cabin in the Wood, and I remember as a kid being super afraid of it. Right. So we had the chicks today who was talking about watching a movie. She's like horror movie. So I said, okay, Cabin in the Wood, is that a good movie? She's like, yeah, it's a good movie. So Cabin in the Wood is very special. Now, ultimately speaking, it's another bittersweet for me. I'm proud of myself for watching it. But it's such a great movie. So the movie itself, there's two people, right? There's two group of people. The first group of people, which are, if you will, the victim, right? So they go into a controlled environment where there's literally like made up monster, and they're real. That's the thing, they're real, right? And the other room, what you have is you're in a position where it's so hard to put in perspective because you got the scientists who are controlling the experiments, right? So at first you're thinking that they're celebrating, they don't mind if people dies, they're really celebrating. There's a very important scene. It's not a funny movie, but basically, in every single horror movie there's a sex scene or there's a girl showing her tits, right? Because demographic likes that, right? So then you see that, and like okay, and you see the scientists watch that and not have a reaction. And there's another scene where you get like a bunch of cubes with people inside, and what they're trying to say is that this is the amount of victim that we had experiment. So they're having like an experiment, right? Now, the first part of the movie is the experiment, and it's kind of cool because there's clue in the movie that this is an experiment, right? There's a lot of clues. Like for example, there's a guy that finds out drawings, and those drawings are not normal. They're not supposed to be there. Blah blah blah. And then there's the second part, right? Which is the scientists are going further and further and further and further. People die. People start dying. There's only two survive from the main group, right? And it's kind of cool. So my favorite part about the movie is at the end. I would have loved. I'm gonna be completely honest. I would have really liked. Or set token. It's 28 level weekly basic. I would absolutely love if the what we call it if the it's revealed that they were doing gas and they're not doing gas, they're actually like there's really monster, and then you realize that it's a facility where they're literally captured monster, there's monster. So what at the end of the movie what happened is the monster gets released, the two people escape. So there's this girl who plays an alien, right? And she's like, okay, well, you gotta choose choices. Either you're either this is finishing here, or um, how can I put this? Either you guys die here or you're destroying the world. So Cabin in the Wood presents itself as that, and there's this amazing movie of the movie itself isn't that scary. Didn't have any scares. The graphics are nice. The acting is really good. I did like the acting. Um, my favorite part is the concept of it, right? What if you were able, like for example, if you had monster and you need to feed them, so you needed volunteer, right, to feed them, or what if you could observe and study species, but study them in a hunting environment? Would you do it, right? So it presents itself as almost this Truman Show, but at a greater scale. So Cabin in the Wood is actually a really good movie. This is 2012. I think it aged very well. Now, got the last movie, which is The Crazy. The Crazy is the story of a small town, and there's sort of a virus going around, and the virus is making people crazy and very violent, right? So at first, you see this person that is coming in, and he's like, "Yo, this guy's fucking insane. He's attacking people. He's literally out there murdering people. There's a lot of stuff going on, right? And like you're not sure as to why all this is going on, right? Then you realize that they're sick, right? The characters are sick. So this is not them. It's a sickness. So you think it's a peculiar event, but no, it's a people of it. The beauty of crazy, the spectacularness of crazy, and that's not a word, but I don't give a fuck, is that it's sort of an epidemic. It sort of presents itself as almost as this zombie movie, as this apocalyptic movie, but it's a small town. So the movie starts in a small town and the movie ends in a small town. So you're like, okay, well, how would you deal with that? There's a sheriff. How fast does the disease spread, right? What are we trying to do with that, right? And it's an amazing movie because they all know each other. It's scary. It's a question of trust. It's a question of who is the next infected. It's a story of okay, well, this is small scale. How do we end it? And then in the movie, they talk about nuclear bombs the place. Like, okay, well, if we nuclear bomb this place, the virus will not survive, and this will end all of the problem. Morally speaking, you sacrifice a couple people to save a billion, a couple thousand people to save a billion. You would do it, right? But then we get attached to these characters, and like when it happens, like, oh, I'm not sure I wanted. This is kind of a mess. So I did really like the movie. How did the movie? I think Special Need Revolt is possibly the movie that makes me think the most. Cabin in the Wood, I really enjoyed it because the concept of it is genius. Like I want you guys to understand that in the beginning, we see a bunch of what do we call it? We see a bunch of people, um, like lab watching a horror movie, right? And they have this contest, and like, okay, well, guess what? This is what style it is, right? And then you have our characters, which are completely different, and they go into this trial area, right? And then you realize that you see the scientists again, but now the people that we're seeing in the screen are the people we just saw leaving or going to the cabin. Like, holy shit, this is our crew. So it's mesmerizing. It is so interesting, but so interesting. And there you go. That's our movie review. Not so bad, huh? 3 movies in 40 minutes. That is what's up. Okay, so now we're gonna be doing this. Mm. There you go. Delete. We're putting a lot. Lot.
J'ouvre ça, guys.
Uh-huh. What is that?